when you got to work in this kind of stuff, it's not always fun.
That's true. That's true. I think that was a big thing for me leaving New York. Is I loved the change of seasons, but I just didn't want to deal with the cold and the snow.
Yep.
All that anymore.
I get it.
Plus, the music scene in New York kind of fizzled. Hellraisers Ball, rocking it out right here at Seminole Music in Seminole, Florida. And we're here talking with Sean Drover, drummer for legendary thrash metal band Megadeth.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
Good. Where are you from? You got a New York accent. What are you doing down here?
I'm from the Bronx.
You're from the Bronx.
Yeah.
How'd you end up down here?
Oh, man, I just wanted to change
Yeah.
pace.
Got tired of freezing to death in winter?
Yeah, got tired of the snow. You know,
Now you boil to death down here.
Now I boiled to death in Florida. So now you're originally from Canada, correct?
Yes, I am. I know all about freezing to death. Yes, I
You
do.
do?
Yeah.
So,
originally born and raised in Montreal.
That's a hell of a lot more frigid than the Bronx is.
That's honestly, I moved down here as well. I lived in Montreal until I was 18, moved to Toronto, and literally remember going to work one day on the bus and just saying, you know what, I can't take this cold anymore, so I actually moved down here to St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, get out.
Yep.
So
Back in
you have
87, I lived down here for about 3 years.
Oh, wow, so you still have a lot of ties here?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. This is, you know, I lived here for 3 years. It's kind of homecoming to me, of
Very
sorts,
cool.
so, yeah.
So now, currently you're living in, where, Atlanta, Georgia?
I live near Atlanta, Georgia, correct.
How do you like Atlanta compared to here in Florida?
I just like the change of seasons. It's a great place to live. I love it down here too, but after a while, back in the day, I just got kind of tired of it got so hot, it's cool to vacate for me. It's like, obviously it's a great place to vacation, go play golf and hang
Right,
out,
of course,
but when you got to work in this kind of stuff, it's not always fun.
That's
So,
true, that's true. I think that was a big thing for me leaving New York, is I loved the change of seasons, but I just didn't want to deal with the cold and the snow
Yep.
and all that anymore.
I get it.
Plus, the music scene in New York kind of fizzled out a little bit, and things really changed on the club circuit.
Sure.
And I had a next-door neighbor that lived next to me in the Bronx, who is from the Tampa Bay, Clearwater area. And he kind of pushed me in this direction, because I was looking at the east coast of Florida, Fort Lauderdale,
Right.
that type of thing, because I really didn't know any of the areas. And he was like, man, you got to go check out Tampa, because he grew up here and played with a lot of the musicians
Yep.
down here from the early days, like, you know, the guys in Sabotage and Nasty
Yeah, of course.
Savage
Of course.
and Power Surge and all those.
It's a great
bands.
breeding ground for a lot of great metal bands down here.
And so he was like, dude, you need to go to Tampa.
Mhm.
He goes, you'll find musicians, you'll fit right in. And came down here, found an apartment, and didn't know anybody when I moved down here. Didn't have any family, friends. And just basically found where the music and the motorcycles were. And
here you are.
been here almost 9 years.
Good. Good deal.
So now, when you first came into Megadeth, you came in with your brother Glenn Drover.
Yeah.
You actually came in the middle of a tour, right?
No, I
For
came-
the System Has Failed
I
tour?
came in the start of the tour when the record was just completed and it was just released, literally just released. And Dave was getting ready to do a tour. But Glenn had already been in the band for about a month.
Okay.
And I kind of got the call at the last minute, literally 6 days before the tour had started. I got the call to come in as well. And yeah, that was definitely an experience, you know. I had to really focus on learning the songs that I didn't know.
So now you didn't have a lot of time to prepare.
No, less than 6 days. 4 days rehearsal, travel day, show was in Reno, Nevada, just on the 6th day. So
That's amazing. Now, were you already very familiar with the?
I knew all the old stuff. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I didn't want to focus on, because I knew Holy Wars makeup, I could do it 90% just off the top of my head.
Right.
So I wanted to focus on the things that I didn't know, the things from like cryptic writings, and I kind of lost touch with it as they were going in a less heavy direction at the time. I was going,
Right.
for me, I was going in a heavier direction, so I
Okay.
kind of lost touch with it, so I had to
I think
revisit that and
I think
learn
it's
all
like that
that.
for a lot of people, when you're very familiar with the band in their early days and they start to like change styles, because, you know, Megadeth for a while did go a little more, you know,
Sure.
radio friendly, especially like with the Risk record and stuff.
Yeah, I
like
didn't
that.
know any of that era at all, so, you know, just getting acclimated with things that I didn't know and focusing on that, and then obviously we pulled it off, so, you know, here we are almost 10 years later, so.
Well, so now you are basically the longest running drummer that Megadeth has had up to this point, correct? Or close to it, at least close to it.
I think, I know Nick was in the band obviously a long time. Nick Menza was in the band probably close to 10 years as well, so I really don't know. I mean, I don't really look at the statistics part of who's been here the longest. It doesn't really matter to me, but yeah, I guess obviously I'm certainly one of the longest running members in Megadeth's history, certainly.
Right. Now, the first album that you actually played on was United Abominations. What's your favorite song on that record?
Sleepwalker.
Okay, that would probably be mine too.
Yeah.
Now, out of all the records you've played on since then, what would you say is your favorite record?
Endgame.
Endgame. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I like them all for different reasons, but if you're asking me to pick a favorite,
Now, what would be the reason for Endgame being your favorite?
it's a heavier record. I'm always an advocate for the heavier stuff. I mean, luckily for me, I've got one of my songs on there, a song called Head Crusher, which is really well received. A lot of fans really dig that tune.
Yeah, great song.
A lot of heavy stuff in that record. I really like, I like them all, obviously like them all. I like United Abominations as well. It's got a lot of really great songs on it. You know, but it's like asking what your favorite, you know, your favorite child is, so it's, I
Yeah,
love
so
them all.
it's very different.
I love them all, but some of them are cuter than others.
I hear that. Now, since you became in the band, you've actually had the ability to go on a lot of different tours, and you played with a lot of great bands since then. And we were talking a little bit earlier, and like you said, you had the guitar player from one of my favorite bands, Diamond Head, come jam with you.
Brian Tatler.
Brian Tower.
Yeah.
And